Hey Lise, how are you?
Hi, Andy. I'm good. How are you?
I am so good, and I am so excited that we have now launched Pep Talks and Prosecco. So cheers to us.
Here's to us. So excited.
So
How
exciting. We're both so anxious to talk that we want to talk at the same time. This is reality. This is how it is. Oh man, I know part of the reason for us building this community is really bringing people together and the influences and the power of those influences on each other. And I didn't realize how broad the influencing was occurring, or maybe not so broad, but indirectly that it was occurring. Um, had a little situation here in our home this week where we have been building our little tech inventory to support our weekly videos. And so have a microphone now, and we have a tripod stand, and it's like looking pretty official. And my 8-year-old decided he wanted to make his own video. It was pretty funny watching him do that. So we set up the tripod, and he had the phone set up, and he had the microphone positioned, and he was, rearranging the background accessories and positioning himself in a certain way in the frame. And then all of a sudden he said, "Just wait, I need a glass of wine." Because he thought that was part of his prop in order to make a video. I don't know if that's a good thing or not. Oh my goodness. That is the reality of kids are always watching. Kids are always watching. So, oh man. You shared something, Lisa, with me this weekend, just a girlfriend chat that you and I were having. It wasn't about weather, Will. We were just having one of our chats as we do as really good friends. And you shared something with me about a practice that you and your husband have just recently started taking on as building in as part of your day. And I just think I loved it. I love the messaging. I don't want to tell the story because it's your story. And I'm just really hoping that this week you'll share that with us.
For sure. Yeah. Well, thanks for that. My husband, Dale, I lovingly refer to him as the farmer. He listens to a lot of podcasts because of course he spends a lot of time in the tractor and that sort of a thing. And so he had asked me to listen to an episode from a podcast called 31 Thoughts. And it's actually a hockey news podcast. So I was a little bit skeptical, but I agreed to listen to it with him. And this particular podcast episode had Michael Gervais, who is like a world class, like high performance psychologist. So he works with a lot of high performing athletes and performers. And this particular episode, he was a guest on there talking about mindset and during these uncertain times. And it was actually really good. It's in the first 20 minutes of this episode. And he talked about during these uncertain times, it's so important to take notice and note of your emotions and how you are feeling. And so he shares a whole bunch of tips and strategies on how to respond when you notice how you're feeling, how to, deal with stress and anxiety. But there was one particular piece during the episode that really stuck with us and we started to try. And what he said was, at the beginning of every day, become a researcher of what's good. So spend your day noticing and noting things that are amazing, things that are awesome. And so I do have the farmer's permission to share that we started doing this. And we're not perfect. We haven't done it every day, but when we're hanging out at night, having a glass of wine together, or when we've gone to bed, we'll say, hey, what were your 3 awesomes or your 3 amazing things from today? And it just really has caused us to flip how we respond to things during the day. And so I have a story. I want to give an example of how this played out. A few ago, it would have been May long weekend actually. Of course, it's seeding time here on the farm, and so my husband is spending almost every like every daylight hour out in the field. And I was at home making a dinner, and I was actually logging that dinner on my personal Instagram, and I get a call. I need you to come pick me up. And I knew it wasn't a good sign because it was way too early for him to need me to come and pick him up from one of the fields. So off I went to pick him up, and sure enough, a deer antler had punctured one of the big, I think they call it a dually, I'm not too sure, but a big tire in his tractor. Anyway, which had halted his production for the day, right? So not good, not a good thing. But so he came home, we got to enjoy our lovely dinner together. And so, of course, during our dinner, we say, what were your awesomes? And we both agreed that while that was going to be an expensive kind of roadblock and stopped him, we got to enjoy dinner together. And there's not going to be many of those evenings over the next few weeks. So just an example of how we can take something that would ordinarily be a drag or something that would get us down, but we found the good in it. And yeah, so we've really been trying to find the awesomes in every day, and knowing that it's a struggle, it's hard. And if we pay attention to the economy, we know that things are uncertain for the farming industry, for the agriculture industry as well, but we can just focus on today and what's awesome about today. So that's what we've been doing.
Awesome. So I love so many things about that. I love that I get to sip on my Prosecco while you tell that story. That's one of the things I really love. But for me, what stood out when you told that the first time to me was about, you're an amazing wife for listening to a hockey podcast. I just think that puts you like top shelf right off the hop. Secondly, it's this intentional practice of really noticing and then taking note of your surroundings and choosing to kind of catalog those, I don't know, those situations, those events into your noticing that you're doing, and then reflecting on it later throughout the day, and that you do it in partnership with somebody. And it really is community still. It's you and your husband that have made that intentionality to do that practice together. So I love it. I'm thankful that you were willing to share that, and thankful to your husband that you were able to share the story, because I can't even imagine that example that would have been so incredibly frustrating to know the day was going to end short. It was going to be an expensive end to the day as well. But because of this new practice that you two are sharing together, you were able to wrap around it and frame it a little bit differently. So thanks for sharing that. I think our community is really going to love that as well.
So
Go ahead, sorry.
31 Thoughts. It's actually the April 1st episode, April 1st, 2020. And Michael Gervais also has his own podcast called Finding Mastery, where he introduces high performance performers and athletes. So check it out.
That's awesome. So last week we started kind of capping off our Pep Talks and Prosecco with looking at comments that our community members have posted and shared with us previously to this time. And so Lisa and I are going to continue doing that. And Lisa, you went first last time, so I'll go first this time. The comment that I picked out was with regards to a while back we had done our extraordinary features. That's been done now, over with for a bit now, but there was a feature that we did on this amazing mom named Alicia, who has battled so many pieces, all with really keeping focus on the fact that she wants to get better so she can give back. And Chantel made a comment about Alicia being a warrior. And I just love that term so much on a regular basis, but then to attach it to someone like Alicia just was like, yes, like I'm telling you, like there was like a song just singing in my ears about it, because it just resonated such truth to the story that we were able to share about Alicia. So that was my comment that I picked out for this week. What was yours, Lise?
Well, I'm cheating again because I'm pulling something that one of our extraordinary people said during our interview. And it has stuck with me since I read this in her interview. And it was actually Cecile. And she talked about that imposter syndrome. I'm actually working on a little post about that right now. But she talked about when she feels like there's that doubt creeping in or that fear creeping in, she straightens her crown and she continues to behave like a queen or something like that. She talked about and how God doesn't make people who are imperfect. And I keep thinking about those two sentences in her interview since we posted that one and had a chance to meet her. And that really hit me. It's been really powerful for me. So that's mine.
Oh, I love that comment as well. And I really appreciate that now the entire Weather Wheel community understands which of the two of us is the rule follower and which one of us is the rule breaker. I'm glad that is clear for everyone to know now. So we should probably wrap this up. Thanks for listening. Thanks for following. Make sure you give us ideas, topics, people that you think we should be talking about or inviting to join us for Pep Talks and Prosecco. Till next week, we'll see you later. Cheers.